In this video, we'll be doing a full tutorial of Keepa. Keepa is a product research tool you're going to use every single day in Amazon FBA retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, used books, basically anything. So make sure you stick around through this entire video. We're going to take you from a Keepa beginner to be able to confidently analyze Amazon product research products to be able to go ahead and sell on Amazon FBA. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Miles. I'm a 24-year-old full-time Amazon online arbitrage seller. Back in 2021, I started doing Amazon online arbitrage, was able to do over $1 million in revenue. My first year, 6 figures profit. It completely changed my life. It can do the same for you. Did about $2.4 million in revenue last year and can continue growing that and documenting it on my channel. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive into the Keepa tutorial. We're going to start out looking at this Glossier product right here. In order to get set up, you're going to want to go ahead and get a Keepa subscription. It runs about 20 bucks a month. You can do it on Keepa.com. And then what you're going to want to do is attach it to your Chrome, your Google Chrome basically. And now we can go ahead and scroll down here and take a look at how the extension works basically. So when you initially take a look at it, it's going to have 3 different charts that you're going to be able to read. However, I would recommend clicking sub ranks and taking away the middle one right here. And then if you ever accidentally click away the bottom one, you accidentally clicked here, which was less historical data, you always want to have more historical data up right here. Now, just in terms of taking a look initially at a Keepa chart, basically, what you're actually doing when you look at a Keepa chart is you're gauging the performance of a product over time. How quick it's sold over time, what price it's sold over time, and the competition over time, the 3 important metrics that you can really easily see. And after you've looked at a couple dozen products, basically, we're going to take a look at a bunch in here. You're going to have a decent idea of how to go ahead and gauge that over time, basically. So I made it a blank slate in terms of I subtracted all the basically line items right here. Now what we're going to talk about is what these different selections mean right here and how they actually play into your business basically. So initially, I like having the sales rank selected right here. So what the sales rank is basically it's a measure of demand that's assigned to every product on Amazon, right? So within a given category, which we can look down here, we can see this product it's looking like fragrance basically. So it's in beauty and personal care right here. And it has a current sales rank of about 15,000 right here. Now, the lower the sales rank, the better. So the #1 ranked product in the beauty category basically is moving like crazy. It's probably selling 1,000 times a day right here. And this is a 15,000 rank. Anything below like 20,000 sells pretty well, and we can see over time, especially as the weather's gotten a little warmer, the trend has been going down on this basically. But anything under 100,000, as a beginner, you should be considering purchasing, assuming that it's been that way for a while. So we can see over the last 3 months, the sales rank goes up and down every day, right? And it was right in the range of like 25,000. Looks like it's trending a little bit down. Makes sense that as the weather's getting a little bit warmer, people are being a little bit more, I guess, beauty conscious basically. And the nice thing is we can see the performance of the sales rank over time, right? So we can see in December right here, the sales rank went all the way down to 5,000, and now that's really, really good velocity right there. And we can see even over time that back in the day, back in like 2018, 2019, the demand was significantly lower for these. I assume Glossier just wasn't a big brand, or their Amazon listings just weren't that established. Yeah, basically. But you'll know as you start to click around on different products pretty quickly, like certain brands tend to sell way quicker. Like people are searching on Amazon for, brand identity and stuff. And the nice thing is for us as resellers, basically flipping name brand products, it's really easy to identify good demand. That way you're not making bad buying decisions. Right here, the next tab that's important to actually go ahead and have selected is the BuyBox price right here. Now, the BuyBox price, you can see it's very steady in this case. It's going right around like 82 to 86, $82 right here. So the BuyBox is actually what's right up here. And now the BuyBox is the buy it now option that the customer sees. It's basically the seller who's in the BuyBox. They're in the driver's seat to get the sales. The vast majority of the sales go to the seller that's in the BuyBox. So if we go back to the Keepa chart right here, we can see the seller in the BuyBox changes a lot in here, right? That it's changing legitimately intraday. The nice thing is that Amazon rotates the buy box between the sellers who are priced competitively. So we can see intraday the buy box is going from like 83 to 87, all the way down to 83 again, down to 82. And the nice thing is that it doesn't just go to whoever's the lowest price. There's other things that take into account, whether you're an FBA seller or not. That's why you mainly want to be FBAing. products, although you can get the BuyBox FBM as well. But it also plays a role geographically in that, for example, I live in Pennsylvania, so products on the East Coast, even if they're a little bit higher priced, are going to show in the BuyBox algorithm to me because they're going to get to me quicker, and Amazon understands from a customer psychology perspective that a lot of us, and just in general more often than not, we would pay an extra $1, $2, $3 if it means we can get our product 2 or 3 days quicker, basically. So if you ever see someone that's like pretty low priced and they're not getting the BuyBox, it's either because their delivery dates haven't caught up yet, their product's still on the way to Amazon, basically, or there's a good chance they're just geographically, their stock is located in a way different warehouse. Because as an FBA seller, you're typically gonna be sending your product into an FBA warehouse, and sometimes it gets transferred to different regions of the country, basically, and such. So we can see the BuyBox is going up every day, and basically you're gonna get the BuyBox if you're priced competitively in an FBA seller. And sometimes they'll even get it as an FBM seller. Right here, we can see the market change on this in real time. Makes sense in December when holiday demand really spikes up that the price would go way up. So this was as high as like 110 and 110, 115 in December, and right now it's right in like the 87 range right here. The new price right here, this is auto selected. It's kind of just shows like the lowest new price, whether it's like used or new, basically. It's kind of a not really important right here, and that I would love to unselect it. Right here, but just want to show you guys in general. New third-party FBA right here. So this is actually the orange triangles that you're seeing pop up right here. So this represents the lowest third-party FBA price right here, and an orange triangle doesn't necessarily represent a sale, but it represents a change in price right here in terms of like the lowest FBA right there. And the nice thing about this is the more of these you see, the more often something's selling. Like if you go ahead and look at a sales rank on a product that's like 1,000, or keep a chart on a product that's like in 1,000 rank, there's going to be tons and tons of orange triangles right there. And if you look at something which is 150K rank or 200K rank where it's not really selling consistently, it's going to be significantly higher, or there's going to be significantly less orange triangles right there. So I like to have all these selected. The new price is automatically selected, I'm pretty sure, right there. I don't like to have third-party FBM selected just because I'm mainly FBAing products, so it doesn't really matter to me basically on that. So I don't like to have that selected right there. And then we can, zoom out and see the chart over time. Now, it's important as a beginner when you're analyzing these products and just buying stuff in general, your first couple of test orders for arbitrage, you're not going to be buying a ton of different products, right? Therefore, a year's worth of data isn't super important unless you're planning on taking advantage of it seasonally when the product's really hot, right? So I would mainly just be looking at the 3-month charts right here, and something like this has a very, very stable price. Right here, we can see it's pretty much been in this like 87, high 80s, low 90s range for a while. Right here, and people are still getting the BuyBox up at 87 right here, 88, 86, 99 right there, and it's changing like crazy in there. So we can see people are getting the BuyBox at pretty much the same price they were back here. Right, so this is a very stable price action type of item, so it's a type of product I'd be pretty comfortable buying. Right here, okay, down. Now, I told you guys to get rid of that middle chart, right, by clicking subranks to get that away, because that really isn't helpful data at all. This bottom chart, however, the main one you want to have selected right here is actually the new offer count. So the new offer count is the competition on a product right here. So we can see the competition ebbs and flows, it goes up and down. We know that the sales rank is pretty good on this, so it makes sense that we can see that people are selling out right here, and if they're selling out, you can assume, if multiple people sold out in a day, it's probably selling like 5+ times in that day, because there's other people that have the BuyBox that didn't just have one in stock, and those people that sold out, they might not have just had one in stock right there. So we can see that the competition has gone up and down on this in over a year. We can see that in December, the competition was way down, all the way down at the end of November, early December, to like less than 5 sellers basically. And then a ton of people went ahead and hopped on this in December and FBA'd it, which naturally led the price to come down a lot basically. So you oftentimes want to avoid products where the competition is going way up or the price is going way down. And especially when the offer count's going way up, because that most likely means that the price is going to go down. Basically, the only time you would go ahead and actually take advantage of something like that is if the ROI was really, really high and you had wiggle room to go down from a pricing perspective right here. You can have these rating and review counts selected right here. Not a huge fan of that, especially the rating one. The review one's not a bad one because it kind of further validates that a product's selling if it's getting reviews. We can see on March 15th it had 380 reviews, and now it's all the way up to like 420 basically. Right there, so that's not a bad one to have selected. I personally don't like to have it selected, but you can feel free to. And then some more nice data down here that I actually think I should probably look at more. We can actually see the current sales rank, as well as the 90-day average, and then the 365-day average right here. So we can see this is a pretty stable product, because right here, the 90-day average is about a 22.6K sales rank, and then the 365-day average is about a 25,000 sales rank, which is basically the same thing. Like, there's a big difference between like a 1,000 sales rank and like a 10,000 sales rank. Like the 1,000 is like crazy velocity. There's not a huge difference between like a 10 and 20, 20 and 25. Stuff like that. The vast majority of the volume goes to like the top 100,000 and then top like 20,000 products, basically, as it kind of scales down. Basically right there. We can also see the current sales rank for the like subcategory, basically. Don't worry about that at all. Right there, that's not important on that. In terms of just other stuff in general for a product, like I don't really worry about any of these, although it's not a bad kind of pop-up. You could take a look at here. Maybe I should look at this a little more. Don't worry about comparing the national price. You could share the graph on social media or whatever, which is pretty interesting on that. In terms of the data right here for track product, never click that. Don't worry about it. Right here, this is very important right here. So if you go to actually data and then product details, this is a whole new side of Keepa that's going to give you a big advantage with your product research, basically, and that we can see all of this stuff we kind of already know, the reviews, etc. Right here we can see how long it's been around, although once again this data is not super important. Right here we can see a lot of it just like with sell ramp and such right here. However, over here on the right, the current average, now this is very important data right here, and then we can see further dived in terms of like what we just took a look at with the sales rank average right here, is the 90-day average, the 60-day average, 30-day average, etc. Like I said, it doesn't change too much. You should mainly be focusing on the 90-day data when you're not buying a ton of a specific product. Someone like me who's been in the game a couple years and I'm looking to purchase, 50 units, 100 units right off the bat of specific products, I need to be a lot more cognizant of, one, all the data in general, but also the data over time, because I might have that product in stock a lot longer. Basically, these sales rank drops right here. So sales rank drops are nice because you can tell like when something drops, it definitely sells. However, it doesn't necessarily completely correlate to a sale. So I personally wouldn't focus on the sales rank drops right there. Just focus on the sales rank over time. If you can see the competition going down and see the sales rank going down and up, competition going down and up, you know that something's moving, basically. Right there. The review count, we can see, nice that it's going up, not going down there, obviously. Right here we can see the BuyBox average, which, like I said, this is a super stable product. Current BuyBox price is $87.49. 90-day average is $86.91. We would definitely run into some trouble with a product like this if the current price was like 90, for example, and the 90-day average was like 115. There's a very good chance that if the price had just gone down like that, it's probably not a good opportunity to look at, because there's a good chance a lot of competition's hopping on that. Basically right there. You can see the stock count of the BuyBox. Don't really worry about that. No need to worry about that. Right there. New price a little bit lower. That just shows like the lowest price, though. Wouldn't really worry about that right there. FBA, FBM, trending data. I'm not really worried about that. What you're really worried about is that BuyBox price, because that's where the majority of the sales are going. Right there. And then once again, we can see the new offer count is nice down there. No wonder the price is nice and stable, with the new offer count current being 54 and then the 30-day average being 54 as well, and then the 90-day average being 50. So no wonder the price is super stable right there. So that's basically it in terms of the product details tab, although you are going to be spending some time in here for sure. Right there, the offers tab right here has a lot of useful data as well. What I've mainly want you guys to be focusing on here is just taking a look at the sold 30 days. Now, it's important to note, I personally don't even look at this a ton because the data can be inaccurate here, although some people swear by it. Right here, so we can see the sold 30 days, which we can see on their stock history. It typically shows when something's gone down in stock right there. So we can see like sold 37, went from 140 on May 11th, all the way down to 103 on May 6th, May 7th when I'm filming this video. Right here, so we can see that going right there on these sold, and then the sold 30 days right there as well. So we can tell, if you got some data on here, product's definitely selling. Now, the vast majority of my product analysis is just from the Keepa chart right here, and then sometimes taking a look at the product details in there, but the offers tab doesn't hurt in terms of taking a look on this. Another thing that's pretty helpful is going over here to the first scene and seeing when someone was initially seen on a product. So that is really, really helpful because it kind of further validates the long-term nature of it, in that this seller was seen 27 months ago on this. Now, that doesn't mean that they were on it simultaneously the entire time, but it helps further validate the kind of long-term validity of the data of this product. And such, that definitely doesn't hurt right there, although I'm not like really looking at that on specific products. Lastly, in terms of the data tab right here is actually the BuyBox statistics right here, which gives us a nice view of to what price point a lot of the sales are going, right? So we can actually go ahead here and see the percentage of the buy box the seller has won, and then the average price at which they've won it. And you can see this varies a lot here because different people are using repricing technology, different people kind of understand that you can get sales significantly above the lowest price, different people don't. Stuff like that. We can see their seller names, their review counts as well. We can see this is pretty clearly an online arbitrage product because there's a lot of sellers that don't have tons of reviews right here. Luckily, in terms of getting the buy box, reviews isn't a super important thing, especially for arbitrage where you're kind of competing with a lot of people with the low reviews. With a lot of low reviews, and then the nice thing too we can see right here is this FBA column. Right here, typically you'll see like pretty much this whole thing will be check marks, but this is actually a pretty FBM friendly product. As well, the reasoning on that is because it doesn't weigh a ton, but it's pretty expensive. Right there, yeah, it's only 1.7 floral ounce in terms of the size of it, so it doesn't weigh a ton, but it's also selling for pretty expensive. So it's really cheap to ship FBM, basically right there. So take a look at that. So we can see a lot of people FBMing it. We know that's a green flag as mainly FBA sellers, or that you could go ahead and FBM this if a lot of other people are successfully getting the buy box at that price as well, which is pretty cool on that. And then in terms of earn money and settings, I wouldn't worry about those right there. Just in terms like sometimes you might want to configure columns right here in terms of taking a look at some different stuff. If you ever kind of want more data, you can go ahead and do that right there, change around some stuff right here. Although, once again, like I said, I'm not spending too much time in the Keepa offer count right here. Okay, so that's the basis of reading a Keepa chart. Right there, we want to identify, okay, what's it selling for now? What's it selling for over time? How fast is it selling, which is looking at the sales rank, right? If it's below 100,000, it's selling. If it's below like 30,000, 20,000, it's selling very, very quick. If it's below like 5,000, it's selling incredibly quick right here. And then we want to see what the competition over time. It's important to note that when you're looking at different products, I wouldn't recommend, especially as a beginner, going after anything that has less than 3 sellers, unless it's from a big brand, basically. So if it's from a brand you've never heard of and it has less than 3 sellers, or just in general, there's a good chance if you go to the BuyBox statistics right here, the person that has like 90% of it is going to be that brand specifically, and you're either not going to be able to list it or it's not going to make sense to list it, basically right there. So that's definitely going to be something you want to avoid basically on that right there. Basically be able to go ahead and see the performance of a product over time, basically right here. So now we've looked at one product and we're going to hop over and take a look at some more products right here. So we can see this product over here is an Adidas backpack right here, and what I want to do with this item is actually show you the seasonality of demand right here. So if we scroll down to the Keepa chart right here, first things first, so we can actually see that Amazon is on this product right here. So we can see, if we go ahead here, we can see Amazon is nicely shaded in orange. This means that Amazon's selling this product themselves right here. Now, if we go to the year-long chart, we can see Amazon's on this pretty consistently. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of competing with Amazon. However, we can see logically, based on the competition, that people have successfully competed with Amazon in this, being that the competition has gone down, even though Amazon's on this themselves. Right here. Why I pulled up this backpack right here is because when I'm filming this in May, back to school is right around the corner, which is one of the best times of the year for Amazon arbitrage, basically because the demand increases for tons of products, one specifically being backpacks right here. So we can see the sales rank over time right here, it's about a 16K rank. The 90-day average right here is about an 11K rank right here. And we can also see that in August of last year and late July, the demand absolutely went up like crazy, which is what caused the sales rank to drop like crazy. And that it makes sense that throughout the year, once we got into August and back to school time, that the demand would increase like crazy for a product like a backpack. So we can see this went from a decent product, right, in that like pretty good, right, especially up here. The demand was at its lowest of the year in May. Makes sense when school's ending for kids right here. And then it absolutely went through the roof and went all the way down to like a 300 sales rank in August of that year, which is pretty cool that you can see that over time. Then if we go to the all-time, we can see, if we go to here and see the exact same thing happened in summer of 2021 when it was a really high rank all the way up at like 1 million right here, and then went all the way down to like a 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 sales rank. And then the exact same playbook right here when it's a little bit more established, had more reviews, there were probably more sellers, which drove the price down a little bit, which caused that to get a lot down like that. Now, the other thing that's important with this product is that we can see up here, unlike the Glossier, the fragrance item we looked at, there's actually other colors, and in this case, and other colors, but a lot of other products will have like multiple sizes and stuff like that as well. So how do you actually identify which of the specific ones are selling quickest or selling for the most? Because the sales rank is for the entire listing. So say you're looking at a shoe that has, 8 different sizes, the sales rank assigned to that listing on Amazon is for that listing. It's not size specific. So it makes sense that, some of the more common size, like size 10 men's shoes would be doing the best, size medium, size large for clothing, stuff like that. But we need hard data, right? Which is gonna come down from going here and looking at variations right here, which is actually then going to show us, and you're going to want to move your Keepa columns around like this to be able to see a lot of this data. I have mine kind of perfectly tailored to what I like to look through, which is basically being able to filter top to bottom by BuyBox price right here, as well as see the most expensive stuff, as well as being able to go here and filter top to bottom by demand, basically. And so by demand, or what we actually are able to do is, now Amazon doesn't give us data in terms of like which sells the quickest, but they do give us data in terms of which has the most reviews, basically right here. So we can see right here, this black and white one, makes sense that would be selling the quickest, has 860 reviews, and it has 23% of the lifetime reviews for this listing. So it makes sense that that would be selling the quickest. And we can see, as we scroll down here, it makes sense that a lot of the basic colors are selling the quickest. You're gonna see that's gonna be the case on most listings right here. So we can go ahead here and scroll through and see the different review percents, as well as, more importantly, the total review counts, basically right here. And then I can also see how long the specific one's been around right here. Although that's not super important, I just like to have it right there. And you guys can see there's a difference between the new price and the BuyBox price right here, because as we looked at, BuyBox can totally go above the lowest price in many cases right here. But in order to determine the quickest moving and best variations, you try to find the intersection of velocity and price. So like we can see, these actually are like pretty much all the same price right here. So it'd be like the ones that are like 52.50 that also have adequate demand in their review count in green right there. However, something like this where Amazon's on it, personally not a huge fan of competing with Amazon. There are a lot of smart sellers that will compete with Amazon when on a listing you can go and hit data and then hit BuyBox statistics right here and actually see Amazon sharing like 30% or more of the BuyBox. In this case, they're only sharing about 7% of it right here, so it's not really a good opportunity on that. But that's product number 2, my friends. And so let's take a look at another one right here. We can see over time, makes sense the demand would go down. We can see price pretty stable. But something like this, where if it was a little bit more reseller friendly, Amazon wasn't on it, and the demand went up like that. So for example, backpacks that Amazon isn't on, which I'm going to show you guys how to find in a few minutes. Basically, the price would have most likely gone through the roof, and it'd be absolutely the type of product to sell. So think to yourselves, as we're getting into the summer months, right, eventually the fall months, what products are going to be doing best? That's the type of products you mainly want to be hunting down in terms of low-hanging fruit basis. It's going to be like summer-themed products like sunscreen, towels, like outdoor gear, getting into the fall, football gear, volleyball gear, soccer gear, back to school backpacks, stuff like that. The nice thing is it's really easy to find those products on Amazon, and then you just have to be able to find them profitably right here. Okay, so next product we're taking a look at right here is actually a pool. So right off the bat, if we scroll down on Keepa, we can see that this is actually carried by Amazon right here. I just kind of wanted to show you guys the way the market can change, even just around like big world events basically. So if we go to the year long right here, we can see that the price naturally goes up in the summer. We can see it was significantly higher last year. Demand continued to go down right here all the way in like July. The demand for a pool was at its highest basically. Then it makes sense. No one's buying pools in the winter. It gets a lot higher basically in a smaller category to the patio lawn garden one right here. I don't know why my second chart started showing right there. Let me get those out of there. Alright, cool. Right there we can see competition went down and such right there. If we go to the lifetime, you guys can see what happened in 2020, that these went as high as like thousands of dollars basically right here, because obviously no one wanted to go to like, you know, their neighborhood pool and such right here. So we can see a lot of money was made on pools back in 2020, which makes complete sense in terms of that, and then a little bit as well in 2021, and then we can see demand was significantly less, and more so just Amazon being on it in general, a lot more in 2022 and now in 2023 right here. But if you want to see some funny stuff over the years, you can look at the demand on stuff like pools, other products like that, weights in terms of like what happened in 2020. We can see pretty interesting seeing this history of a product on Amazon. Now, will it ever get back to this price? Probably not right here, but it's just interesting taking a look at, you know, how that can perform over time basically on that right here. So it's you know, not really kind of Keepa chart we would want to carry. I just want to show you guys how demand can change basically for stuff over time, because you're going to be analyzing, you know, hundreds of products here as you're getting going with your Amazon journey right here. Okay, this next product right here. So immediately right off the bat, when I look at this, I can see that the seller in the buy box is actually an FBM seller. Now, how do I know this? I know this immediately because I can see that it doesn't ship from Amazon, it ships from the seller, right? So we know that they're FBMing it right here. So I know that as an FBA seller, there's a good chance I'm going to be able to price above this potentially and sell pretty quick, because I'm competing with an FBM seller right here, at least in the buy box. There's some other people on that. And then if we actually come down here and look at the 3-month chart right here, we can see that Amazon previously wasn't on this. They're now on it. And then that slowed a lot of the third-party competition selling out, and eventually drove this third-party price of 33 right here, which wasn't even the buy box. People weren't getting the buy box, down significantly. Now we're all the way down to like 16 right here. So we can see how Amazon getting on this really ended up screwing a lot of the sellers that were previously on this, that were potentially selling this up in like the 27 to 30 range right here. And we can see it's always a risk when you buy products that Amazon's previously been on. I'm not a huge fan of it. There are people that do that, and it completely does work, just a little bit more risky, because we can see that there was a gravy train from like November all the way to March of these being, you know, pretty high price basically right here. And then we can see basically fell off a cliff when Amazon got back in stock. And even now that Amazon's sold out, we can see the competition's further going up right here, which is driving the price further down basically right here. So absolutely not the type of product I'm going to want to do. And we can see stuff where the competition's on an uptrend, stuff where the competition's on a downtrend is stuff you're going to want to avoid in general, my friends, basically right here. Okay, we can take a look at another product right here. We can see this one. Now this is important because this is what an IP complaint looks like. And now a lot of you guys are afraid of IP complaints. I am myself too, and I want to show you guys how to avoid them basically right here. So we scroll down to a product right here. We can see, taking a glance at the 3-month, we can see the price is pretty stable right here. And then taking a quick glance at the year, I know I told you guys mainly focus on the 3-month data, but you should be taking a glance at the year. We can see that back here in January, that on January 8th there were 73 sellers, and then a couple days later on January 11th there were only 2. And if we zoom in on this data right here, we can see they're actually 0 for a little while. So this is an example most likely of an IP complaint right here. So this is a product I would absolutely want to avoid, because I could see that the Amazon, or that the listing owner, most likely the brand owner, basically just kicked everyone off the listing and said, no, you guys can't sell this. And now we are reselling products on Amazon as resellers, so people can do that all the times, but we can see, looking at some of those past listings, you know, stuff sustains over time and everything, and that typically doesn't happen, especially on established brands that you can trust and look at dozens of different listings. This is a listing. Most of you guys probably aren't familiar with this brand right here, and it'd be important to always check this in advance right here and be able to see if there's any IP complaint history over time. Very rarely does something actually recover like this, and you see people selling it in, kind of reckless right there, and I definitely wouldn't recommend it, but people do that basically from time to time right there, so absolutely something I would want to avoid right there. Basically, so yeah, that's what an IP complaint looks like. So you ever see a bunch of sellers going up and down, and then it falls off a cliff, right there, most likely an IP complaint. And even if people are back on it, going to be something you're going to want to avoid, in my opinion, to protect yourself for potentially getting screwed and having to like return a product or liquidate it, etc., and get it back from Amazon, return it from Amazon, and such right there. So, okay, last product right here in terms of ones we'll be taking a look at. Then we're going to take a look at how to actually find more products. Right here we can see this dark chocolate like 2-pack right here. We can see immediately person in the buy box is FBM as well, which is a good sign. We can actually see that everyone's FBM in this right here. If we go to the buy box, this looks also saw it on a seller amp right there. We can see pretty much everyone's FBMing this, and we can see that historically it looks like the price is increasing, right? Because there's been a big kind of delta in price from like 35 up to 50. So on and so forth, basically, right there. So we can see right here, if we go to the 3-month chart, we can actually see that in February there were like 50 sellers, 48, 45 sellers, and now there's all the way down to like 6 basically, and that's driving the price a lot up right here. So I want to show you guys a trend of like a beautiful product based on something that's potentially increasing in price, decreasing in competition. So in general, in terms of like the actual trend on a Keepa chart, it's got to be either really stable or you want it doing something like this where the price is actually headed up, because you know, hopefully that momentum will continue basically, and we'd be able to find this at a profitable price basically right here. We can see clearly based on that people are FBMing it, you know, probably be something we'd want to look into FBMing as well. And the reason on that is because it's chocolate, so there's a good chance it qualifies as meltable right here, which we can see on SellerAmp that it is meltable right there basically. So that's the basics of the Keepa charts. If you guys got any questions about that, feel free to let me know. I also do want to give you guys a sneak peek into how Keepa Product Finder works, because I've been learning about it on my own right here. If we hop over to Keepa Product Finder, this is actually on keepa.com right here, go to Product Finder. What you can actually go ahead and do with Keepa Product Finder is filter for specific products on Amazon, right? Whether that be a certain trend in price, a certain trend in competition, certain brands and criteria like that. So it's a really, really powerful way to actually go ahead and source products. So just to show you guys a little bit of what that looks like right here, we can go and take a look at this. So sales rank right here, we can put in criteria for that, and you only got to fill in certain things right here. So we can see if we go 0 to like 75,000 sales rank right here, that gives us down to a pot of like 14 million products right here. Now you could also do no sales rank in that, which is gonna drastically increase it. So we can see there's 608 million products with no sales rank right there. It's pretty interesting stuff. With no sales rank, it'd still totally be selling. Keepa chart trumps all in terms of that data right here, but we'll go 0 to 75,000 for this crop of products right here. I don't like selling products under 20 bucks. I use a prep center for my fulfillment, so it's really tough to pay $1.25 a unit if your sale price is like 13 or 16 or something like that. So I'm gonna go minimum as 20 up to infinite basically right there, although I'd probably want to put a cap at like 100 right there, like 200 basically right there. Not a huge fan of selling super expensive products. Let's see how many of that are mute. So it's at 6 million right here, gets it down. Yeah, okay, that took out a little bit right there. So I'm a huge fan of doing Amazon out of stock here, although you can do a certain percentage as well right here. And then I'm not really going to worry about some of these other ones on that right here. We don't really have to worry about like eBay price, anything like that. You could search for products in a specific category as well, which is pretty cool. So we could do like, you know, clothing, shoes, jewelry, etc. Right here, we could type in like Nike to look at like Nike branded products. I just dropped in on gating tutorial if you're interested in like getting ungated and a lot of the stuff as well. It's really easy. It's like 10 minutes. You can go check that out if you want right there. Don't really worry about this stuff. So what we're doing is we're searching for Nike products that are between a 0 and a 75,000 sales rank that sell for between $20 and $200, and then that Amazon's out of stock on right here. So and then we can take a look. So we filter it in a specific category right here, added in a title field. So what you could do, right, is for soccer season, put in like soccer right there. For back to school, put in backpacks, or do toys, or like Christmas themed, or Halloween for Halloween seasonal products right there. And then what I also like to do is do the offer count right here. Now, in terms of protecting against not selling other people's private label, I always like to do, for Nike, you don't really have to worry about that, but 3+ right here. And then what's also interesting that you can do is you can do products between like 3 and 10 in competition right here that have an average competition of like 15+ right here. So that takes us down to like 191 products right here. So what that's doing is it's showing us items that currently have competition between 3 and 10 that have a 90-day average of competition above that, right? So what we're going to be doing is looking specifically at products that are decreasing in competition and most likely increasing a lot in price, basically, right? So it's pretty powerful stuff, right? So we can spit out the results right here, and the opportunities are endless with this stuff, basically, right here. Now, what I like to do with this stuff is go ahead and in the new percentage drop right here, what I like to do is find the highest negative drop, which negative drop is an increase right there. So if we find the highest negative drop, basically, so that's what it dropped, -67, so it increased 67 basically right here. And then what we can actually do is, looking at this, we can see the 90-day average right here compared to the current new price. Now I should probably switch this to BuyBox, but I didn't configure my columns right here. And what we can see is that this, over the last 90 days, has increased 67%. It's gone from $15.24 all the way up to $25.47. This one's increased 57% from $24.81 all the way up to $39 basically right here. And it's pretty powerful stuff that we can go ahead and then find stuff that's purely increasing in price basically, or decreasing in competition, which is, you know, going to lead it to be increasing in price right there. And then actually purely open up different Keepa charts right here of all the stuff that's increasing. And, you know, we're going to have some, you know, errors here and there, stuff that's not perfect, etc. But if we look at the Keepa chart on a lot of this stuff, we can see that it's all going to be stuff that's increasing in price right here, because we're getting that data specifically from Keepa. So it's such powerful stuff to be able to go ahead and do that and purely find stuff that's spitting stuff out that we already know is increasing in price right there. So it's really powerful. You can go ahead and look for it. We can see it's selling for like 28 right there. So at 28, moving to 39, so it's like not good. But this is like one of the best ways to find products, basically, because you're looking at stuff that's purely at this trend. We can see this one's up around like 40 right here. At some point I found this at 20, which would leave us a $8 profit, 43% ROI, and that would be a buy, because we can see that trend is nicely headed up right there at a $20 buy cost, $40 sales price. It beats the 1 to 2, gives us a nice little 40% ROI pre-cash back in that right there. So it's pretty awesome to be able to go ahead and just filter that stuff within Keepa. A lot of you guys haven't tried that yet. Give it a go on some of your best brands in the title search. Find stuff that's increasing in price, decreasing in competition, etc. Then you can go ahead and take a look at that right there. So it's really, really powerful stuff being able to do Keepa Product Finder to find stuff that's purely going up in price, decreasing in competition, or has been really stable over time, or stuff that Amazon recently went out of stock on, so on and so forth, basically, right there. So we go ahead and take a look at this Keepa chart, the price. See, so this one's a little bit catfishing right here, because we can see the product details right here. The price is very, very consistently like 28, 29 right there. And then the current price is up at 39 because it recently spiked up. It wasn't that nice trend as some of those other products, basically, right here. So you could do like a general like non-title search and just find stuff that fits a specific criteria, and then go ahead and look for it. If you're going to do it generically by category, just make sure you do that competition minimum of 3 basically, so that you're not looking at private label stuff right there and everything. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the Keepa tutorial. If you do want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe. If you got any questions about Keepa, please let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.